Hey y'all, it is your girl Bad on BB, the best on YouTube, and I never do vlogs like this, so I figured why not show y'all a day in my life before I do something I feel is pretty cool. You guys know I'm in the service industry. I manage a restaurant, so I'm going to a really cool industry event tonight, which will be the Banshee Award kickoff party, and you're seeing what I'm doing the day before I do that. In the meantime, I have to get this laundry folded and put away, so you see my little Slack organizer here. I'll link that in the description box below. And then you have brunch. Brunch over in the Hyde Park, Chicago area. This is a really cool place called Rue. It is a New Orleans themed, or style rather, cafe. They've got really good beignets, delicious coffee. This is Rue coffee. It's a Sparrow coffee blend, which is a really popular one in the industry, and it's really tasty. I'm getting the fried green tomato tartine. These are the yummy deviled eggs here. I have a yummy fried chicken and waffle, fresh fruit, of course, and then I put the pork on my fork, y'all. Okay, I can't resist some good bacon. All right. So we're getting closer to the event. It's time for me to get my makeup together, and I am using a full Fenty face. I'm using the Pro Filt'r primer here and the Fenty concealer, the Pro Filt'r concealer as well. And then I am really excited to use the Eaze drop. This is the Blur and Smooth Tint stick, and Fenty used to have those matte sticks, and I would use that as a foundation, and I really loved it because it gave this matte finish. So I was really excited that she brought another face product back. So I'm just blending that out right now with a nice blendy brush from whatever. I'll leave everything below that I use. I cannot remember the name of this brush right now, and I got to do this quickly. So I'm setting my face with a little bit of translucent powder here, and I put some highlighter on, both liquid and powder, before I use this MUA. It's a Morphe palette, so I use the blush around the perimeter of my face instead of doing the regular rounding, and that gives you that warm, youthful glow. And then I did very little on the eyes, just a little brown in the creases before I add this non-transferable NYX combo here, which I will leave everything in the description box below.
I know my lighting is awful, but I'm at the John Banshee nominees award reception, and we're about to get it in. Giving y'all a little fit check. This is my red holiday Fashion Nova dress. I got this little purse from TJ Maxx. It was like on sale for $16. I love this. I can't just wear it as a top handle if I put the strap inside, but not tonight because I'm carrying my wine. I have a little sparkling here for the festivities. These I also got from Marshall's. These are my favorite little Piper K Dirty Martini earrings. Look at that, so adorable, right? And then of course the hair, it is the Natalia in a 1B. I'll leave the link to all the videos or reviews that I've done before with this hair in the description box. If not, you're gonna see a little box pop up at the end of the night. But this is the fit. Yes, and it's giving. Yeah, Fashion Nova on the dress. Then I've got my shaper underwear, my shaper thong, so it's sitting and it's cinched. Cause let's be for real, that time of the month pre-blow it's hitting me, so I have to put the thong undies on, but I'm snatched, and as you can see, it's sitting, it's giving.
Where their food came from, and one of those first chefs was Chef John Bonche. And there were others, by the way, a small Spaniard by the name of Gabino Sottolino, who would open up a restaurant called Umbria, which was my first sommelier gig in the city of Chicago. And it goes on and on and on, you know. when John opened La Francais in Wheeling, Illinois, I say again, Wheeling, Illinois. That's right, Wheeling, Illinois. It would surprise you that that restaurant became one of the nation's most famous restaurants, that it was known for its gastronomy. And fine dining was kind of beginning to find its way in the Midwest. People would fly to Wheeling, Illinois. You understand? Wheeling, Illinois, to eat at La Francais. And from that kitchen, a generation of young, talented American cooks also learned to develop those relationships, and that kind of began what would be known as the farm to table movement. I'm talking about chefs like Michael Foley. I'm talking about chefs like Carrie Nahabidi, who literally came from the La Francais kitchen and went on to open up their own restaurants. Back for his time, Michael Foley was like on the level of Julia Childs. And then along came the 80s, and we got restaurants like Spiaggia, which caused everyone to rethink what Italian food was going to be to them. And you'd have restaurants like True, who would give birth to chefs like Chris Pandell, restaurants like Spiaggia, who would give birth to chefs like Sarah Gruenberg. And they would open up restaurants. Charlie Trotter's, for God's sakes, was like a camp for what was to come next. And what came after that? Would you be surprised if a bunch of young rebellious chefs would open up a restaurant in Evanston, I say again, Evanston, called Trio. And they would rethink food on a level that would freak everyone out. And from that moment came the kitchen of Alinea. And from that moment came a whole other set of kitchens. And my only point is, by nominees today, we come together tonight to remind you that the Banches exist because you are a part of something. I swear to God, look at your career and where it came from and the chefs and the people that taught you. You will find connection within that lineage. And then that we have that lineage here in Chicago is a pretty special thing. And it's something we shouldn't take for granted and assume that every city has the same.
While we were not part of necessarily the nominee process, we did have the honor of selecting the charity recipient for the Jean Banchet Awards program. And it was important to us to recognize a chef in our community who was moving this community forward in a very profound way.
Yes, Chef Eric.
Thank you all. Thank you to the John Banchet Award Foundation, to the nominees that are present and everyone else that's supporting, to Chef Cooks for the amazing work that they do. I'd like to ask everyone to do something a little bit unorthodox. I'd like you to just turn around and look at who's around you for a moment.
At some point,
Now, some of you came together. Most of us know the other, with exceptions of a few people in the room who we haven't had a chance to meet yet. But there's one staggering reality. There are very few black chefs in this room. And so we decided, after many years of raising hundreds of thousands of dollars for everything that we could possibly focus on, that it was time to focus on our own community. And so because we decided to open a restaurant on the South Side with the help of a dear friend by the name of Matthias Mergis, who opened the restaurant, ran it as far as he could run it, and then handed the baton gracefully. Answered his phone every single time I call, and still answers his phone today. I think that warrants a round of applause.
Yes.
I stand here as a person who has had a very unique career and a lot of really unique opportunities, and that's why I led with the idea that I took over an existing restaurant. Most chefs don't get that opportunity. Most chefs don't have mentors who they can call on a regular basis, and if you're on the outside, a young cook in the inner city, you've got even less of a chance of succeeding in what's already one of the most difficult businesses to possibly succeed in. And so what we elected to do is start a foundation that allows us to grant young people of color. We give grants to anyone that wants to grow and learn in our community, but we have a focus on young people of color. And those grants allow them to do very simple things and then some things that are very, very ambitious. most of you don't think about the idea that young people who come from out of the inner city need money to get a job. If you don't have a job, it's kind of hard to pay for gas. It's damn sure hard to pay for Uber. And if you come from a home where your grandmother's raising you, or someone who may not be able, as in disabled, then there's probably not a lot of income coming in that home, even though they need that young person to work. So that person has to go and borrow money or get in some kind of programming so they could just get to work. I realized as a young guy who started in the inner city how important it was for me to take my skills and translate those skills in what most would consider a hostile work environment. Thank you all so much for taking the time to hear us out. Thank you for recognizing us. We show up every day, we commit to the work, we will continue to do the work, and I personally, alongside my team, plan to change the color of these rooms.
And we'd like to give our warmest congratulations, of course, to everyone who has been nominated for this year's awards. Just continuously inspired by your hospitality, your creativity, and frankly, just your downright delicious food. And very honored to call so many of you, not just our partners, but also our friends. So thank you so much for the folks in this room. And then finally, I guess some last, can we give one more round of applause for Chicago Chef's Cook?
Yes. Bravo, bravo, bravo.